Like, yeah,
So
let's get
go.
on with it. But we are live. I'm joined by the world champion and one of my favorite female fighters, actually, Natasha Jonas, someone that I've always had time for. Tasha, it's a pleasure to have you back on the channel. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me back. It's been a while. It's been a long
Been a
time.
while. So what have you been up to? That's what we've got to get over, because I'm going to get into all the technicalities. When are we going to see you back? Even one of the subscribers on my channel is like, why haven't you asked about Natasha Jonas? I keep on telling you to ask about Natasha Jonas. So if he's in the chat, if he pops up, today's his time.
Bless him. Gosh, I'm just surviving the summer holidays, to be honest. Survival of the fittest. It's every parent for themselves. She's due in any moment now. So if you hear a big, she likes to make her entrance and make her appearance. And yeah, the house is clean, it's pristine. I've gone around, I've done anything while she's been away. And within 10 minutes, it's like a whirlwind has been. It's like a little Tasmanian devil and everything's upside down. She'll be telling me she's bored after being out all day.
Yep.
She'll be hungry, no doubt she'll be hungry, because, they eat 82 times a day in school.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm just surviving. I've managed to get over and I've watched the Olympics, the boxing, the track and field, took her with me, a little holiday with family and friends. And yeah, I'm still waiting for a date. It's like the never-ending saga of boxing, business and politics and everything else. We tried with Michaela Mayer. Didn't work out for a number of reasons, and I don't blame her for not wanting to wait till maybe the October now that I might be out date. So she's gone off and found herself something closer, which I don't blame her. And yeah, that's kind of where we are. There isn't much to report. I wish there was more to report, but there isn't.
No, listen, it's a catch up at the end of the day, because the last time you were out was in obviously January, and it does seem, I know we're only in August, but it just seems like a lifetime away. I remember obviously, watching the fight, and I love the way that you went out quite aggressive, quite quick. And this is what happened with me because I was doing obviously my commentary for the live watch along, and my commentary was favoring you. But then when it got to the end of the fight, I was saying, I think Michaela Mayer's won. And then, after your fight, I just stopped scoring or stopped trying to work out how the judges fights, because every word out of my mouth favored you. It was like, yeah, Tasha's doing this, Tasha's doing that, yeah. But then when it got to the end, I was like, oh, I can't. I wouldn't want to do the job of a judge, put it that way. But go back to that fight, Tash. How did you find it, and what did you think on reflection?
Yeah, I think when I watch it, and obviously people are going to say, oh, she's going to say that, but I genuinely do think I won. I think it was a lot closer than it should have been on my behalf. The one thing that the judges all agreed on was I got the first 3 rounds, and I believe that as well.
He was aggressive.
I just thought my problem, and it's cost me the Terry Harper fight, it cost me the Katie Taylor fight, has been a slow start. So in the Namas, in Bergholt, in the Kerr, I knew I couldn't give rounds away again. That was if I'm taking anything from them draws and losses, that's what it was. I had to get a good start, and Michaela Mayer was no different. I knew that she had a good engine. I knew that she can keep throwing punches. I knew that she'd try and come on strong in the end. And she's a very skilled operator, and she can box. She loves to fight, and you can draw her into the fight, same as Katie. But she can box when she wants to. So I knew that I had to get up and get ahead. And then it kind of like, I remember Joe roaring at me. I think it was around 5 or 6, and he was just roaring at me, and I was like, I knew I have these moments where like I switch off. It's a bit. Sometimes it's a bit of boredom, and that sounds crazy when you're in a fight, but it is just little lapses of like, oh my god, and frustration. She just hit me with a shot there. I'm fuming about it, and boom, boom, it comes again. You're like, ah, and then you've got to like rein it in and like kind of, okay, right, let that go, let that round go, and start again the next round. Otherwise, you'll just keep winding yourself up. So there's a little bit of that. Pulled it back in the middle rounds, and I think I got the late rounds as well. So yeah, it was a lot closer than it should have been. And yeah, it was a good fight, and that's what you expect from two, one a champion, one a former champion, and two good elite amateurs. So yeah, it was a good fight.
It was a good fight, and that's the thing is with at the top level, like the top level with the female fighters, we're never bored watching it. I know you say you might switch off and that, but we don't because it's always toe to toe with the girls. I get it; it's 2 minutes. I get it. You've really got to put your foot on the gas more than the 3-minute rounds. I get that, but we're always like entertained. So regardless, it was a good fight, and it was a fight that I was expecting to see a potential run back. So I've seen Michaela Mayer do a recent interview with Boxing Social, Matt Lenahan, so shout out to him. And it was, Michaela spoke very highly of you and said, look, it's something that we really wanted to run back, but it obviously it didn't work. But your side, Tash, because it's like you're just sitting here waiting, you're a world champion. What is it from your side? I don't know who's frozen. Is that me
Oh,
or
sorry.
you?
Yeah, sorry, you're back now. So from my side, like it's pretty much the same. We tried to get it back. We tried to get it back with Boxer. Boxer said we give us a June date. For whatever reason, the June date didn't happen. Then they were saying like it's going to be towards the end of the summer. So we both decided, and when I say both, it was at this point it's me as my manager and Michaela's manager, George. So we're back and forth and trying to, and he was like, well, how about doing it on a Top Rank show? So I said, okay, I'd like to box in America. These are the things that I need from you. Is that possible? He went away, spoke to Top Rank, ended up on a conversation with some of the Top Rank people. They said, yeah, brilliant, we'll come back to you. Came back to us. They said, like, we'll agree everything that you'd asked for. So I'm for, yeah, perfect. But we think the fight would be bigger in the UK. So we're going to try and move it to a Queensbury show. So then it went to between Top Rank and Queensbury. And I don't really know what happened there, but then it wasn't possible. Not everything that we agreed could they agree. So it ended up not happening. So then it came back to boxing, and Box was like, okay, well, these are the potential dates. And obviously there was just too long a wait. And the dates that they gave us initially was September, but it wasn't definite. And obviously, like I say, I don't blame her. She didn't want to wait on for a maybe. And it's probably a good job she didn't, because September never came. So, now I'm still in a position where I don't know when I'm going to fight, which is annoying and frustrating. But I don't blame her for moving on, because she can't sit around waiting for me and waiting for a date forever. So she's gone, found her own fight, and that's just where we are. And I'm still waiting for mine.
So, would you say, Tash, it's like when you're at the top, when you're a world champion, it's harder to get these things over the line? Did you find it easier when you was working your way towards the belts, getting the fights, getting the dates, and then it's become stagnant as you become a champion?
I think there's a little bit more business politics involved when you've got belts, because obviously your promoter wants to keep them in-house and, wants to keep hold of the belt for whatever reason. So there's a lot more business behind the belt. But as a challenger coming up, you've just got to kind of just take what the champion's offering. So you either you can either take it or leave it, and that's the two options that you've got. You haven't really got much to barter with when you haven't got a belt. So getting a belt is brilliant, and it brings all everything that you've wanted and you train to. But there comes the business of, like, you've got the belt and we want to keep the belt here. So that then all other things, and it just gets complicated and messy. But like, obviously the fans don't that's the side of the business that the fans don't really get to see.
And then it just looks like, what is that fighter doing? Why aren't they out? And this is why, I really wanted to catch up with you. So what is going to happen, like, with you? I mean, you mentioned there managing yourself. How does that work with you as well? Because you're not just now got to concentrate on training, you're dealing with the management side of it. I know you manage other fighters, but what's it like managing yourself and also still being a professional fighter?
Do you know what?
That must
To
be
be honest,
crazy.
I don't really get. Joe still does a lot of it. To be fair,
Okay.
um, it's just that I wanted to be involved in the conversation, and I wanted to learn the side of the business. And you hear so many nightmare stories about deals that have been done either above the table or below the table, and fighters being unaware of their own business. Now you're the most important part of the business, but 9 times out of 10, the people never even know what their contract is, or like, you know, what the fight, and it's just it's madness. It is madness when you like could become a bit more like business
Savvy.
minded. It's a bit, yeah, it's a bit like, well, why wouldn't I know that? Why aren't I in that conversation? Why don't I get emailed? Why are like other people making decisions about me, and then I've just got to say yeah, like, and I'm trusting that the information is coming back 100% what's being said, and sometimes that's not the case. I'm not saying in my case, but sometimes like you've heard of stories where it's just Chinese whispered, and it's just it's been something else has been said, something else has been said, and it gets back to you, and it's totally different to what was initially said. So yeah, I just thought it was really important, especially as you know that may be an avenue that I go down, that I want to be in the business part of it. I want to know what I'm doing.
I think it's a good idea though, Tash, because you've got the experience. You've got obviously credible, phenomenal amateur background. You obviously worked your way up to your multiple world champion, and like you said, you being in that position, are you going to be more like honest with the fighters, and you're going to be transparent to make sure they know exactly what they're getting, and it doesn't have to be that Chinese whispers. I know you got your little one coming through the door, so if you got
Yeah,
shit
yeah, the alarm going.
it's all right, yeah, if she's
I'm
there,
trying
just
to like give hand signals and eye signals. Yeah, definitely. I think that's just what the sport needs, is a bit like just honest people who've been involved and been there, not trying to take anything, just trying to give the best route, give the best advice, and give you 100% of the information that I've received, and hopefully I've received it correct. I check and double check and triple check, and yeah, get the best opportunities while I'm still competing. We've seen Mikey on one or
yeah.
two of my shows. That's a bonus. Like, but I've been dead honest with Mikey and Jonathan now, that like I'm still learning. So like we'll do this together. Everything bit of information I get, I pass on, and this is what we've got. Let's work it out. But I do think we just need that, like, kind of the openness and the honesty, because a lot of people in this game aren't.
You know what, I have to fully respect it, because I get it. Not nobody can be a professional boxer forever. It is quite a short-lived career, so it's still nice, even from a business perspective. Looking like you're laying out a path, so you've got something that's there, ready, waiting, and it's yours to carry on with, and pass that baton on to those fighters, and hopefully give them that, like you said, that honesty that they need while they're in such a business that can not be so honest and can be quite deceitful. Like you said, you hear all the horror stories. I'm sure you've been party to some of those horror stories. So when did you decide to pick up that pen and start managing for yourself?
I think the first fight was the Namas fight.
Oh, it was from
Um,
that early.
yeah, it was
Oh, I
from
didn't realize that.
yeah, it was either the Namas fight. Joe might have been still be me manager for Namas, but it was between Namas and
It's
definitely
about
Bergolt.
it's about
So
3 years then, 2, 3
yeah,
years
yeah.
now.
No, I know, flies. I can't believe when I was sitting in the Olympics watching Cindy, a thing flashed on my phone to say 12 years today. And it was me with one of my
Wow.
friends as pictures in the Olympics. I was like, how is that 12 years? Time just flies.
I'll tell you one thing, in boxing, it definitely does fly. I've got to go into the chat because we've got a couple of people in here. So I'm just going to say good evening to those. So if you said good evening to you, Hakan Johansson says, hi, Tasha. Are you hoping for big fights, Chantal Cameron, Katie Taylor, or unification at your current weight, which is welterweight?
Right now, I'm just wanting a fight, but I've made no secret that, you know, there's fights that the fans want to see, there's fights that the promoters want to put on, there's fights that, you know, make sense for Ben and Sky and whatever. But towards the, like, I've made no secret that this is, you know, these are my last fights. If it's not one, it's going to be two. You know, we're coming to the end, so I want them to be a bit more of a fights that are personal for me. You know, as good of friends as me and Chantal are, we've actually spoken about the potential of me, and that's another thing that, you know, I might be discussing with Queensberry at a later date. But yeah, the Katie Taylor one's very personal. You know, she's beat me a few times, and I want to get that one win before I hang up the gloves, just to say, yeah, I did it.
Yeah. Is Tasha ready? Boxing pound for pound, Jack. Good evening to you. Is Tasha ready to face the winner of Sandy versus Michaela?
If that's I mean, I've had the conversation with Sandy's manager. I think we had a
Katie Taylor's manager as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Brian Peters. So we had a back and forth on Twitter, me and Sandy, not so long ago, and she was saying, "Oh, about a fight and whatever." And I said, "Well, make an offer." Obviously, I got a call. The offer was something the money was the money that I got for Namas 4 fights ago. So I said, you know, I made them aware of that, and I was like, that's way too low. We're past that. We're like 3-4 fights past that now, and no increased offer ever came. So that's just what it was.
Okay. If you see asked, are you still with Boxer?
Yeah, I'm still with Boxer. I think I've got 1 or 2 fights left with Boxer, but I'm still with them, yeah.
So when you talk about, have you seen the conversation that Michaela's had with Boxing Social the other day? She mentioned, and I've got to catch up with Sandy because I haven't caught up with Sandy yet, about the fact of another female. And I need you, look, I know women were territorial. I get that. I understand that completely. Michaela Mayer's in a gym. She's been in there for forever. You know, she talks about a culture. I've seen it all. I've seen them all there together at press conferences. And then she mentions, obviously, Sandy coming into the gym and Sandy saying, oh, you know, I didn't think it would be a problem, or I didn't do it to obviously upset your feelings or whatever. But then it's resulted in, I think Michaela's now left that gym and is now being trained by a new coach, not somebody new in boxing, but a new coach. When you look at that, is that the same kind of thing? If you had a female coming into your gym at your weight, would you feel a way because potentially you could fight? Or
no, I think, I mean, I had Rhiannon Dixon. I mean, she was with Crawler, but she was training in Gallagher's gym, and we were trained together under Joe. And yet we were like 1 or 2 weight differences apart, weight categories, apart. But like, for me, that wasn't an issue. But then obviously if I decided to go back down to lightweight, then it potentially would.
Okay.
Yeah. And they just wouldn't, they probably would, but they have got their own gym now, but like that may have been an issue. But at the initial stage, I don't see why it would be a problem. But Michaela had made it from another interview that I'd seen. I don't know who that was with.
Okay.
You know, she'd said from the get-go, this is going to be a problem because potentially me and you can fight. So right. I would never, you know, go and start training with Pete Taylor or, you know, whoever. I wouldn't do that because I know where the alliances are.
All right.
And I know, like, so I wouldn't, you know, I might go and have a sparring session, or, you know, I might go and have a day there for whatever reason, but I'm not going to go and set up camp there. And I think that's why Michaela's took offence. And more so, I think, I don't necessarily think it potentially is Sandy's fault. From what I understand, it's more of a coach situation where, you know, your coach has shows.
allowed it.
So yeah, and as when it's come down to it, when she said make the decision, it's her or me, they've chose Sandy. So that's a coaching issue more than a Sandy issue. But she made it clear from the get go that she wasn't happy with the training there, and Sandy still proceeded to train there, which I think, yeah, I can see why she's mad about that.
How do you think that fight goes with them pair?
Someone Boxing Social asked me this yesterday.
Oh damn it! I'm
I
asking
know,
everybody this
yeah. To
question.
be fair, I'm pretty much on the fence. I think
Oh yeah,
Sandy's last two performances have been really good. She's had a good quick start. I don't think Michaela can let Sandy have a good start. I think she needs to put it on it early. I think she needs to. Um,
you got to come out
she's
quick.
going. Yeah, she's going to have to use what one of her biggest assets is, and that's her work rate. But sometimes, and even in our fight, she throws a lot, but not. It doesn't always get through.
Okay.
And it can be a little bit ineffective. So it's not just about quantity. You've got to have like quantity and quality. It's got to be, like a happy medium between. So I think she does need to put it on Sandy early. I do think if you pressure Sandy and give it to her back, that she can become a little bit flustered. So, but I do think Sandy's a good talent, and I think she's got the skills. But I probably, if I'm going to have to choose, I'd probably edge with Michaela.
Yeah, and the thing is, Sandy's like literally going on to another promotional network. I know she trains out in the US anyway, and obviously, as you guys as amateurs, you've travelled the world, so it's not really, oh my god, I'm going to another country. But yeah, fair play to her for taking the fight. Sandy's still early in her career,
Yeah.
And now there's a bit of spite between the
Middle, yeah.
girls. I think it makes it more interesting from like the fans' point of view, because we'll be like,
100%. Me and Michaela was very mild. Like,
you were,
we
weren't
both
you? Very
respected,
respectful, weren't you?
like, and we were just going to let the boxing do the talk. But then before that, Michaela was against Baumgartner, and she absolutely hated her. And like,
Yes,
I remember doing an interview with them both, and me and Andy Scott were just standing in the middle, like,
I remember watching it. Yeah,
and I was just like, I didn't know where to look, didn't know what to say, and I was like, I think Andy was waiting for me to say stuff, and I just couldn't. I was just like, Um, but that again, like you say, that's what the fans want to see. They don't want to see all niceties all the time. Sometimes in boxing, you have to have them grudge fights. We had them, with the Ben Collins. We have it with Joshua Dillian White. We had it, we Beefy and Eubank Jr. So we need them. We need Kel and Amir Khan. We have them all the time, and that's what makes the fights exciting. Is sometimes that not everyone always likes each other.
yeah, we'll definitely have to see what happens with that one. You'd mentioned about potential. I know you get on really well with Chantal Cameron. You've mentioned Chantal several occasions before. So you doing like the leg work and a bit of the management work, and then working with Queensbury. We're getting all of the promoters now working together. And Tash, you've been there from the beginning when that would never happen, and now you're seeing it happen. Your thoughts on that and the evolution of boxing? And I can ask you that because you've been inside it for so many years.
Money talks, is all I'll say. Um,
Yep.
you know, when there's money to be had, that boxing. I know people watch the sport, that's what you watch, but this professional is a business. That's what you are. You are, your own commodity in that sense. So, and that's what promoters are. They're in the business of making money. They like promote you to make money. So, and yeah, money makes the world go round.
Money talks, isn't it? What is
It's
it
true.
like for you to see them all holding hands though, and they're like all the friendship, well, friendship, business relationships, and even like Ben Shalom, is there now with Tyler Denny, Joshua Boatsi, as they're going to be on the Wembley card for Dubois, Joshua.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for the boxers, that may have not otherwise have got on them big shows, and at the end of the day, we are prize fighters, and
Yep.
that Saudi money makes a whole heap of difference to the fighters, because they potentially wouldn't get them wages anywhere else. So yeah, um, it's refreshing, and all them fights that everyone wants to see. No one wants to. All the business and politics gets in the way, and now they can happen. So that for the fans has got to be the plus part. But I get sometimes their frustrations at them being away and being in different countries and yeah, whatever.
Couldn't we do with seeing some of that in the female boxing? Because you've mentioned obviously the reason why yourself and Michaela didn't get the rematch on is because of like the politics. We're, or some of us are eagerly waiting to see like the Saudi investment. We're getting some of the females on the card because then that would cut out all of that stuff that you had to go through as well. So it's like we're definitely getting the fights, but it'd be nice to see some of the ladies, some of you guys on the cards as well.
Yeah, definitely. Again, this is something I answered yesterday, and I literally just seen someone on X post saying, it'd be great for the Sheikh to get Natasha and versus Katie on there. Literally
Okay.
before I came on here. So yeah, I mean, it'd be great to have them fights, and it'd be great to have them nights. But again, it's not just as easy as accepting the fights and accepting the paces, because there's a lot of politics and with women and stuff out there.
Yeah.
The ideology behind it can't just be for money. It has to be for the right reasons. Now, I do know that they have, initiatives going at the moment to, about empowering women and things that they have going on within their own country, and to be a part of that would be, a great backstory of why you chose to do that. But then there's also other politics behind us of why not. There's always going to be, the pros and cons. You've got to weigh them up because, you've got to weigh them up.
Do you think you could probably try and go out? There's me trying to just push it now. I'm trying to push the sales, but like when I know obviously we've got Beterbiev Bivol coming up October the 12th, and I'm talking about the cards that are out in Riyadh, and then potentially obviously Usyk Fury 2. Is there any way that, say for example, if there are boxer fighters on there, which I'm going to make the assumption that there will be now, that you could possibly go out there and try and just like, I don't know, get the feelers for it, get and see what it's like, and see if you can make some connections, some business, and try and advocate for some of the female fighters. I can't sit here as a female in the industry and not ask that, Tasha. I'd get I'd get stoned to death on Twitter after.
No, I definitely, I was going to go for the Fury Usyk. The only reason I didn't go was because my dad let me down. I didn't really want to travel by myself. It was kind of like a present for my dad for his birthday to go.
Fair enough.
And he didn't go, but I do intend to do that. I think Little Mo from our gym is someone who's signposted to be on one of the future cards. Okay. So I would definitely go over and show support for him, and any of the other lads from the gym that could get on any of the cards. So yeah, I'm open to going and having them conversation and being in them spaces. But again, I've got to do it the right way and for the right reasons.
When you look at the market at the moment and you see, obviously, we've obviously got the massive import from His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh, which is brilliant for the sport. I've loved it. I've been watching all of the fights, etc. Do you think it's having, and this is just me looking at the horizon, the UK fight cards are starting to, there's not as many as there usually is. I'd say Frank Warren's actually at the forefront with UK fight cards. He's still putting on shows every other week or whatever. Obviously, we've got Wasserman there in the background doing their thing as well. But it's slowed down with Boxer, and I think it's slowed in. And this is the UK I'm talking about. It seems to have slowed down a little bit with Matchroom. So when you look at the business side of it, do you think that will start to level out? I mean, we are in the first 12 months of this new investment, this new life being pumped into the industry. So how do you see it mapping out?
I don't know. I think a lot of it is uncertain. Because I don't know if fighters are waiting to get that call, putting themselves in positions to get that call, which I don't blame them.
Yes.
Or whether you don't, if you're in that position, you don't want to risk it. And then I just, with the competition being somewhere else, it's like, do we need to keep putting the shows on here for these, because they're the big ones and they're the big shows and that's where the money's being made. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know enough about the the promoter business to be able to say, but it hasn't been great for anyone, like you said, for Matchroom, for Boxer. Um, yeah, Queensbury's had a few. Wasserman's had one or two, so, but it has been slow, and that's again that's part of the reason I haven't been out is because there is no dates, and that's the problem. Whether that's due to Saudi or other things, I don't know, but I know that I'm waiting for dates. So if that's that's the reason, that's the reason. But I don't know if it is all the reason.
It's created a vacuum because now we're having rising smaller hall shows, and the one that seems to be standing out, that's now on the Zone as well as a platform, broadcasting platform, is GBM, Izzy Asif from Sheffield. That seems to be sort of like filling a vacuum. There's fighters that maybe with boxer fighters I've definitely seen that he's pulled onto there, and the it's creating a space now for maybe the smaller hall promoters want in brackets to possibly fill that vacuum in the UK, and I don't know, maybe get some money invested in them in the small hall industry.
Definitely, I've seen some great GBM shows. I've seen some great Blackfast shows. I've seen some great Kieran Farrell shows. So yeah, but of it because of they're not on TV or they're not on mainstream, not everybody gets to see them. But if you go to some of them events, there's some really good, 50-50 fights. And I think sometimes, and I know I've seen this before, is that fans are looking at cards when your Matchrooms, your Boxer, whoever, and they go and say that's a win, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win,
Yeah,
and maybe the main event or the co-main event is a bit of a 70-30 or a 50-50. You're good to get a 50-50, and that's the frustration as well for fans, is that it's too many of we know exactly what's going to happen, and yeah, but on them smaller hall shows, because they are smaller hall and because
the
they
match
need
card,
to sell
aren't
tickets, they need to have a bit of excitement in the arena, so they are a bit more 60-40, 50-50. They are a bit more like that, so that's probably why they're having a lot of success at the moment.
Fraser Clark is now going back in with Fabio Wardley. We've seen the BBFC circular come out like the Bible for some of us. That 13th, the 12th to 13th of the month, some of us will run over onto the internet and
Me too.
refresh this. Yeah, I love looking at it. It is like the newspaper. So Fraser GB squad goes in against Fabio. How do you see that fight this time?
Let me just say that is the best fight I've seen live. I think atmosphere wise was Eubank Jr. and Beefy one. Like I've
Really?
never felt an atmosphere like that ever in my life. That Fraser Clark and Wardley fight, literally the best fight I've seen live. It had, Fraser asked me at the end. He said, "How did you score it?" And I had to be honest. I said, "Fraser." After round 4 or 5, I stopped scoring
Yeah.
because I was screaming.
Yeah.
Like I was jumping. I was like,
Yeah.
and then at one point when Fraser was gone, I was nearly crying. And I went through, I was like, Fraser,
Brilliant.
I don't know how you feel, but I just wasn't ready for all them emotions. So how did I score it?
Brilliant.
I can't tell you because I stopped counting. By the time I cried
Brilliant.
and laughed and screamed and shouted and like lost my mind, I'd lost it. I did stop counting. And he was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I think, looking back now, probably he was unfortunate not to get the nod. But again, can we have another fight like that? I hope not for the two lads. I hope not.
It was brutal.
It was brutal. It was literally both of their faces afterwards, in particular Wardley's, was horrendous. Like, and you just don't, for someone like Fraser, who is like in the early start of his pro career, even though he's like older,
Yeah.
he's got a long way to go. You don't want to be having them wars all the way along. But as a fan and as a spectacle, that was some fight. Do people want to see it again? 100%.
100%.
Let's hope Boxer I've won the purse bid, so then I can be on the undercard and I don't have to score anything.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I literally, it was one of them. And you know, I was screaming. I did a live watch along because I wasn't there. So when I was shouting, like telling Fraser to get up, like he can hear me, but he can't.
Yeah.
You know, when he went down, and yeah, it was brilliant. But that's how those British fights should be. You know, you had both of them, and to be fair, they were pretty cordial. The only thing that I didn't like is the fact that more or less everyone was writing Fraser off, and I was saying, stop
Yeah.
sleeping on Fraser. He's going to get up for this fight. Stop doing that.
I think because, and this is through no fault of phrase, but sometimes, and I say it all, I've said it so many times, sometimes you need that like bit of scared to get you in the position to be able to think, no, I've got to train hard for this. Like this
Okay.
is not just going to be a walk in the park. And it just, I don't think he'd had that before that. And you know, Dave Allen was probably his time to shine, and he was a good name, not necessarily like in great shape. He hadn't boxed for a while or whatever, or you know, he
Yeah.
wasn't the Dave Allen of old, but he was good name to have on his record, and that was his time to shine, and he didn't, and it was
Yeah.
scruffy, and it was, you were like, is that is has he met his level? But
Mm,
then, like I say, sometimes you need that fear factor to bring out the best in you, and I think Wardley did that,
yeah.
and it was still nail biting, and I was like, in part, but he needed that. He needed that. One, to say to myself, no, I've got that, and two, to be like, he just, yeah, he just needed that psychologically. I think physically he needed to be in the best shape, and he did. He came to the ring like that.
So, oh, well, how do you think it's going to go this time?
Hopefully not like that, because my heart, I don't know about them two, but my heart can't take it. So I
What
think
are you going to go out to? If it is in Saudi, you're going to go out. If it's there, I don't know where it's going to be. There's rumors that it's going to be in Saudi, but no one really knows.
I probably will do. Yeah. Um, so yeah. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. Hopefully it's a win for Fraser. Clearly, doesn't got dropped. Doesn't, you know? It's a
No
bit more
low blows.
technical. Yeah, it's a bit more technical. Um, so yeah. But then again, you know, I think Wardley himself as well answered a lot of questions of him. You know, can he do the rounds? Yes.
Yeah.
You know, has he got a chin? Yes. Can he tough it out? Yeah. Can he handle an experienced elite amateur who's a good boxer as well as fighter? Yes, he did. He answered all them questions. So I think both will be, when I say cautious, I don't mean cautious as in like, but
Okay.
they'll
All
have a
right.
bit
They'll know
more,
what. Yeah. They'll
they'll
know
have a
what
bit
they're
more
in for.
nous and a bit more awareness of
Yeah.
the other one.
Yeah. Because they know what they're in for.
Exactly, yeah.
Also, that came out on the circular. We've got rising star from Queensbury, Moses Atuma. And it looks as if he's been ordered to fight the English champion, Solomon Dakers. So, how do you see that fight going? There's lots of mixed opinions on that one as well, where Fraser's was really lopsided and he proved a lot of people wrong. I could say that this one's more or less tipping the same, but what are your thoughts on that fight? Is it the right time? Should Solomon take it? If he does, how does it work out?
I think if Solomon backs himself, he's got to take it. Because if you don't, then you're kind of already letting us know. And
Yeah,
people will say, oh, it's for this reason, it's for that reason, but you kind of know. Um, for Atuma, I seen his last performance, which I thought was brilliant. And, you know, the people
with
that he's been
Marion.
with and trained and sparred, they all speak very highly of him. I haven't actually physically, like, seen him myself. But it's a big ask of him, because Dakers isn't just any pushover either. But again, that's more, I don't want to say 50-50, because I do think it probably sides with the Atuma. But there will be questions and things ticked off and answered in that fight that I think he'll have to go through and withstand, and he'll come out victorious.
Yeah, interesting to hear that. So we've heard, and I spoke to Ben Shalom the other day, and he did whisper about a potential card, a boxer card being on the 28th of September. Is that a date that you're potentially familiar with? A date that could be pushed your way to get you back out there, Tash?
'Cause it's not a date that he said to me, so no.
Oh God.
So yeah, I don't think that's my card. So fingers crossed it's one a bit later.
I really feel frustrated for you because you're a good fighter and you're good to watch. You don't bore us. Like I said, with the females, it's rare that you do watch a boring female fight, but you're one of the the solid fighters that I love to watch as well. I just really hope that everything literally just pushes through you and we get some positive news about when you're out because people are asking for you, especially on the lives that I do on the watch alongs. Anytime I do a boxer watch along, they always ask about Natasha, and that was it. I said, I've got to get her on. And I was really hoping that you could answer some questions.
I'm so sorry.
It's not your fault, is
Get
it?
me and Ben on and see what happens then. I mean,
Listen,
the
Ben
viewing
has
for
been
sure.
watching my stories since I put up that you're coming on this live. Ben
Oh,
Shillong's in my stories watching, so he's probably
yeah, he'd be shaking his boot.
now,
That's
innit?
why.
What's that bloody October Red up to? Let me just go through the last bit of bits on here. Let's have a look. Right, if you're saying an all-female Riyadh season card in 2025 with boxing and MMA, why not? Because I don't want them to. Personally wouldn't like them to separate the fights. I think they can put male and female on the same card. But Tash, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like again, I wouldn't say no. It has to be for the right reasons. But yeah, I'm kind of in that thing where, the Clarissa and Savannah night was brilliant.
Yeah, it was. I like
As
that.
a spectacle and as a show to the world and whatever, brilliant. But I'm kind of in that thing where I agree that like if we're trying not to differentiate it, then don't and just put them together.
Absolutely. Joel Gallagher, this from Ra Holcomb. Joel Gallagher says that the Saudi amateurs include girls. Yeah, sorry, I forgot Joel's got heavy involvement out there, isn't he? So they're not opposed to women in boxing per se.
Yeah. No, I knew that anyway. Obviously through Joe and through so I have been asked to go out and do some
Oh, you've got to
female
go,
section.
Tash.
I know, I know.
Got to get
It's
networking.
I know. It's
If you
like
need someone to carry the spit bucket, I'll come out with you.
Listen, I've got obviously my little girl here who's 18 in school, and she does her own
Yeah, I
thing.
get it.
I do all my stuff, and then I have to do her stuff as well. Then I do parliamentary things with Parliament, and women in sport and developing for athletes and boxing, and I do that, and then I get to as many community groups, schools, primary and secondary as I can in my local area to like give talks, do sessions, and I literally and now I've through no fault of my own become a pad man or a pad woman for me uncle, and I go to his gym and
Really?
give him pads, and like I ended up there for 2 hours the other day just padding all people that was like, oh, can we have a go? I was, yeah. So now I'm actually off okay at pads. And then
That's
obviously
very
I'm a manager as well, managing myself and two fighters. So I honestly, I unless it was like maybe a summer holiday or a half term,
good.
I haven't got the capability. And plus, I'm waiting for a fight date myself. I'm still trying to be
Yeah.
an athlete. It's hard to get the time to go, but I will get over. I will.
You got to. I've got a shout out to the super chats from Base the Kid, the Hardcore Casual. Thank you very much for the £5 donations. Love you, Tash, and love you, Reddish. Very nice of you.
Thank you.
That word is thrown around so casually, isn't it?
Love.
Yeah. It means nothing. Toby Ringirl Bartlett. Toby likes the ring girls, so he favours the Queensbury and the Matchroom shows because he likes to look at the ring girls because Sky doesn't have them anymore. Don't know why that
Yeah.
is. But anyway, salute base. We all love Miss GB, and she doesn't look a day older than in her days in the Olympics.
I appreciate that, but I know you're lying. Because I looked at the picture and I thought, oh my God, I look like a baby. And I was 28 then. I was 28.
Nah, but you still got you're one of these that keeps in shape. And guys, it never really pans that. They never really do full length on you, but you've got really good taste in shoes. Because my thing is shoes. And I always look at people's shoes. I can tell. I judge people by their shoes. Sorry.
Oh, don't say that.
But you've got you wear nice shoes. I've seen people in some right minging footwear, but yours is always all right.
Nice.
If you see comments, why would they do that to Dakers? If he doesn't take it, he looks like the ultimate duck, which is, yeah. Well, I think he said he wants the British. He wants to go for the British. That's his argument. But
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah, but if you relinquish the English, you're pushing yourself down, because whoever wins the English then is going to push themselves in the right position for it. So I think it's a bit of a
got you. But I do understand that people, like, again, sometimes you can't wait on, like me with Katie. I'd love a fight with Katie, but I can't keep waiting on for her and Solano. So I have to go and do my own thing.
real.
And then maybe I can revisit it at a different stage. So I do understand, not in that case, as you just explained, but I do understand some, like Michaela now. I do understand that she can't just wait for me and keep waiting for us and see. So she has to go and do her own thing, and maybe we can come back and revisit it. So in boxing, you can't just wait on a whim and like hope and pray and dream and cross your fingers, because you have to just do it.
Just got to bite the bullet. Man are done for with his second YouTube name. Healer done for. He's just nuts anyway, but he's amazing. So he said he's enjoying, and thank you very much for the donation. I think the dating box is potentially Ben Whittaker, but I'm going to try and catch up with Ben Shalom. I've messaged him loads, but since he's gone out to the LA card and he sat there with his shades and he's Mr. Big now. He's got no time for October Red anymore. He's hit the big time now. He's rubbing shoulders with His Excellency. Who's October Red?
And can I just say, what a performance from Bacoli.
Wow.
I really rated Anderson
how dare
as
we?
well.
Yeah.
I
knew he'd win that,
people do underestimate Bacoli. I know, like, sometimes his team and he can get involved in talking a lot, but he is actually a good boxer. He is a good fighter. He's beat, the likes of the Olympian. I'm trying to think. Yeah, he's beat Takam.
Tony Yoka.
That's it. That was it. Yeah, he didn't even stand. He wasn't even close. No. He's had the good fights with Hunter and stuff. So, yeah, he is underestimated, and I think he's proved to himself he's not just, one of them people who are like stepping stone to get to somewhere. He is, in fact, the person trying to step over people to get to where he needs to be. So, yeah, I hope he gets some big fights soon.
Yeah, potential for him and Zhang. I'm going to try and get Zilly Zhang's coach on, Sean George, just to see if I can try and get anything out of him. I doubt I will, but Bacoli versus Zhang, you've got two giants there. You've got the Congolese and you've got the Chinaman, and them two. Can you imagine the posters and the promo? You know what His Excellency's like with like his film stuff. That would be phenomenal.
I just want to be an extra in one of them, because they are actually sometimes the better than the fight.
They are. They are. The promos. Like I said, he's got that nailed to a T, and I can't knock that. Even the 5v5 was phenomenal. The promo for that as well. Alex says Natasha Jonas is too pretty, man.
Oh, stop it.
See, I told you about my subscribers. Natasha has parliamentary procedure. I think that just means you're very nice and polite. I'm sure the Saudi girls would love to be visited by yourself. I do agree with that, Tash, because you are very inspirational and really good for the sport. So, yeah. Anything else from yourself, Tash, before I let you go, so you can go and see your daughter?
I know, she's already lying on there with a candy floss.
Oh, bless. Candy floss. I love candy floss.
I know. She robbed my phone as well, so probably she's addicted to Shein.
But as long as she doesn't go live and start doing any crazy
stuff.
Yeah,
no. I'm just more worried about my bank statements than
Lovely stuff. Tash, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to everyone in the chat, but Tasha, thank you. We're going to have to catch up more often.
I mean, I'm here when you want. You asked me the other day and I said yeah today.
Yeah. I'm going to come up to your gym.
Okay.
Are you in there most days then?
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Because obviously it's Manchester and it's not far from me. I'm going up to Liverpool because Nick Ball
got
his homecoming, hasn't he? So I'll be going up to Liverpool, I think, next week for a press conference for that. So, yeah. But Tash, thank you so much. We'll catch up soon. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for a fight date. I'm going to stalk old Shalom, see what he's up to. He's probably going to block me now.
It's probably safer that you get him before I do.
No, let's get him together. We can bully him together. Guys, thank you very much. And you know what we say at October Red? Stay ready. Au revoir.